Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Elite Mod. Your loquacious shoutcaster tonight is, of course, myself, Mr. Red-Rupee. Let's get into this one-on-one game on Quest Heresy. On the blue team, we have Mr. Toilailee. Of course, that's a wacky pseudonym for none other than Toilailee as the Space Marine Apothecary with his support, healing aura, and healing abilities right out of the gate. Of course, our opposing player, Mr. Nurland, as the evil Chaos Space Marines with this big, unsuppressible Chaos Lord breaking through everything over here. Kind of the opposite of the Apothecary. He doesn't care about anyone else. He's just going to heal himself with that Kill the Weak ability that he starts out with. Of course, those of you looking to see some more one-on-one games, I have been streaming recently, so if you're watching on YouTube, keep an eye in the bottom left corner over here. You might see me online at any given moment. But in the meantime, let's focus on this game. Toilailee going for the standard tax. We got the double ticks and Chaos Space Marines for Nurland. Toilailee heading into the center of the map, trying to lock down some of these early requisition points and power points in the center. This whole map is kind of based around this central battlefield. It's a really interesting one-on-one map, actually. I like it because you have the far-off contested power and BP, and then you have this kind of big open battleground with some green cover and these super tight choke points that can really be nasty for either setup teams or if you get melee in the right spots hiding from ranged fire on either side. We've got our first little skirmish. The Chaos Space Marines zooming right in on the scouts. The scouts trying to stall out for as long as they can to get those shotguns onto the field. Oh, the Chaos Space Marines retreat at just the wrong moment. I think if they had actually stayed in there, I don't know that they would have won that engagement, but it's a tricky decision to be sure. Apothecary blasted a heal on himself and is hacking away at lone heretics on the far side. 2-0 cap about to switch right back around for Toilailee, though. He's bringing a second squad of tactical marines on the field, which is interesting. Normally on one-on-one you see double scouts, but we're seeing the double tactical marines to start. With that kind of range firepower, he'll really be able to harass this Chaos Lord when he's trying to approach. As it stands, with only a single squad of tactical marines and scouts, you can kind of run around unabated and really harass these squads, as you can see right now. But with that second squad of tactical marines now moving in, it's going to be more difficult for him to kind of roam around on his own. You can see Nurland didn't want to overextend right there, pulled back probably correctly, expecting a second squad to move in, especially after that Apothecary heal, getting those tactical marines right back up to full, and the map is looking very blue right now in favor of Toilailee. Nurland's going for some havocs. That should be interesting. As I was saying earlier, with these choke points and this big open wide area in the center, that's kind of determines who has all the resources. A setup team or two can really lock down the center without much issue, and we'll have to see if Nurland can make good use of that or not. Without any jump squads on the field, although without anything else, looks like we're going to be seeing some Assault Space Marines coming onto the field for Toilailee at the moment. Those double tacks lighting up those Chaos Space Marines, taking out about 40% of their health in a single volley with those Vengeance rounds. Of course, doing that extra damage to heavy armor. Scouts now moving in, trying to support these tactical marines if they can get in there at the shotgun blast. But, oh man, just two models back there for both of those squads, able to suppress both of the tactical marines. And it looks like those tacks are going to have to get out of there. Toilailee, oh, finding now the Havoc is lying in wait. Has the full retreat right there. I don't think he was ready for that at all. As soon as that Havoc got set up, especially against these double tacks, there wasn't much he was going to be able to do about that situation. Now, some free time for Mr. Nurland to try to get some of this map control back. The only points he even has is his natural power and this victory point back here. Another Havoc coming onto the field. You can see Toilailee a bit behind on power at this point, as Mr. Nurland has those two generators up, and Toilailee went a little wreck heavy to start, went with the double tax into the assaults, so didn't get himself any generators until just now, getting that first one online there. Havoc's getting into position at the center, and we'll have to see if Nurland is equipped to deal with these assault squad. I don't think he knows that it's coming. He's not expecting it anyways, I would assume, since he doesn't have an aspiring champion coming up on either of those. Of course, yeah, he only just now has the power for it. Assault Space Marines jumping in. Apothecary needs to get up there to support them. Oh no, the second Havoc is getting set up as well. This might be a botched engagement for Toilailee. Wasn't expecting that second Havoc. If he can just pull back before anything major happens here. Oh, nice looking kill. The Week getting a big chunk of health back right on top of that Chaos Lord. Heal going down on the Assault Squad, but still taking tons of fire. The second Havoc gets set up once again, and I think Toilailee just needs to get out of there before he incurs too many more losses. He lost an Assault Space Marine, he lost attack. Might lose another Assault note. But it didn't quite work out, dropping both generators right there. The good thing about this map is that, again, because of that choke point, that it can be pretty difficult to get in on this power. I think the double Havocs for Nurland is a great choice because of these chokes. It's very difficult to get a good flank in on this kind of setup. Let's see what Toilailee is going to do about this. He's got that Assault Squad ready. He'd really need to, I guess, to move in on the left side of the map over here and maybe try to get a flank, at least force these guys to unset up, and maybe he can get the Apothecary or Scouts in on one team while the Assault Marines jump on the other. In the meantime, he's just heading right in here. I feel like this isn't the way he wants to do this with this choke point. He's trying to spread out a little bit so both squads don't get instantly suppressed. That's the way you want to handle things. Scouts, oh, getting upgraded over here with their stealth ability. Oh, and he jumps in just as he gets the grenade over here on the Scouts. I think that might have been a bit premature. This isn't looking good at all, actually. Yeah, I think Toilailee was just a bit too impatient with that particular engagement. I'm not sure if he panicked because he saw the Aspiring Champion on the Heretics and thought his Scouts were going to get discovered, but he should have just dropped the grenade on that forward Havoc and then jumped on the rear one. Of course, with two Aspiring Champions on these Chaos Heretics, they're going to be able to tangle with those Assault Space Marines. Really going for those point-blank grenades. Oh my goodness. I was afraid he was going to take out one of his own attacks right there. Managed to do a chunk of health on those Heretics, but no major losses there for Nurland. He's ready to go into Tier 2 anytime now. Locking down the center with that double Havoc setup and those Aspiring Champion Heretics to really counter-initiate on those Assault Squads. That Doom Blast being able to suppress and do some reasonable damage to those Assault Space Marines will allow the Havocs to relocate under fire and then get set up once again. One squad of Havocs caught out by its lonesome gets lit up by Tacs and Scouts alike. 361 to 380. Toilailee had a good early victory point lead, but then with these Havocs locking down the map, Nurland brought it right back around.
A task unfinished is a prayer. Under chaos attack.
Gonna have to see. It looks like the Havocs are just... Oh no, they are able to support each other. I was about to say it looks like they're not quite ready to do so. Scouts moving in, just gonna go up and punch those Havocs to keep them from being able to set up any further. Where's the Apothecary? He needs to heal. Oh no, he's back here capping. One Assault Space Marine goes down, another point-blank Scout. Little danger close on that one. Still, the second Havoc is way in the back now. Still harassing those Assault Space Marines, but for the time being, it looks like Toilailee will be able to take the center of the map for himself. Scouts going straight for the victory point, I think? Or is it? Nope, yep, they're going for that victory point. I wasn't sure if he was going for that natural wreck back there. Both players heading into Tier 2 almost with identical timing. And all is quiet in the center of the map for the time being. Toilailee managed to break apart that Havoc setup once he had isolated it without any of the help of the Heretics. He had managed to force off the one Heretic squad early, so both squads weren't able to get in on those Assault Space Marines. Unfortunately, that Apothecary was kind of back capping during that engagement, and it cost him an Assault Space Marine. But it looks like they are healed up. They're going to be getting back out here, hopefully in time for this next engagement. Scouts getting ready to pull some trickery. Oh, they're a little too close. Might allow Nurland to see that little trap there set for the Chaos Space Marines, denying them that victory point capture, at least stalling out the VPs for the time being while Toilailee and Nurland heading into Tier 2. Chaos Heretics going to be able to babysit these Chaos Havocs if they don't go up there and get shot anyways, that is. Just capping right in the face of all these Space Marines. An Apothecary heal just went off on those Tactical Marines, so now's the prime time to try to get some damage in on those Assault Marines. They're getting themselves the Sergeant, which will allow them to have some extra HP, that Power Sword, and the Merciless Strike ability, which will obliterate these heretics with a nice big line AoE if they manage to land that properly.
Go ahead.
Scouts searching for an entrance into this particular setup here. If they can get a grenade on this forward Havoc or the rear one, those Assault Marines will just be able to jump in with the support of the Apothecary. I think they'll be doing good. Ooh, a Plasma Devastator. That's what I want to see. Okay, the Scouts have spotted. They're moving in on the second Havoc. Assault Marine jump is down. Both Havocs are disrupted for the time being, but the Heretics are moving in on the Tactical Marines. The Scouts are finding themselves a little outmanned for the time being. They're just going to get punched to death if they're not careful. Apothecary doesn't have the heal to keep those Tactical Marines safe, and the Scouts have to fall back for the time being. One squad attack's still up here trying to at least dissuade those Havocs from staying onto the field, but they need to be very careful as they have 2 squads of Heretics, and now Bloodletter's up here as well to do some pretty serious damage on retreat if they're not careful. Plasma Devastator's in position, but it's going to be too close for that melee. Big whiff on it, that first blast right there. That Corn Worship allows those Bloodletters and other Chaos forces to move rather quickly, so they can get out from under those Plasma Devastator shots if they're ready to evade. Another shot just going right into the wall there. It did knock over those smokestacks. That's going to come into play later on. That's very important to knock those over. 200 to 347. And, ooh, those Havocs look like, yeah, both getting the Mark of Corn, gonna see that autocannon fire. So right now we've got, like, a rather melee-centric army supported by these big, nasty autocannons. I think that's actually going to be pretty difficult for Toilailee to deal with, unless he can get those good Plasma Devastator hits down on these autocannons to disrupt.
On guard.
Plasma Devastator. Oh, if the Plasma Devastator had fired at those Havocs in conjunction with that grenade, that could have been a dead squad. It's always fun to try to time those Plasma Devastator hits with other big damage abilities like grenades or smites. You could sometimes get a lucky squad light, or at least cause some pretty large losses there. We've got Corn Marines now, so yeah, Nurland, with the exception of those 2 Havoc squads, going completely melee for the time being. Look at the damage those Corn upgraded Havocs are doing, taking those Scouts down to about half health in a single volley. Oh, we've got a call, and that must be a Space Marine drop pod that's going to bring another squad of Tactical Marines, reinforce these Assault members. And the Plasma Devastator's still in there doing some damage. Even with all that, though, in response, we just saw Bloodlust get activated there, I believe. That red glow on all of the Chaos armies increases their damage the more times they hit their enemy, and rages them throughout that battle. So it's really dangerous to stay in an engagement once you see that Bloodlust activated. So it forced Toilailee off the map. A good use of that global there. Keeping map control and winning that engagement at the expense of red. I think that's definitely a good mid-game use. Oftentimes with Chaos, you won't really see much mid-game use of globals, at least for the Chaos board.
We have 200 points remaining.
Now that they have access to Terminators in the Elite mod, of course, you normally just see the Chaos players saving up for that. Trying to fake out the kill of the week, managed to avoid the majority of the damage right there. Chaos Lord looking a little beat up, with the Corn Havocs, both squads now set up and gonna start taking chunks of damage off of these. Oh my gosh, look at these Tactical Marines getting healed up, but they're still gonna start taking damage if he's not careful. Chaos Lord gets a nice kill of the week, or no, that wasn't kill of the week, that was what, Merciless, or oh man, I forget what the Lightning Claw. Destructive Strike, not Merciless Strike. It's destructive, it's not merciless. He's got a little bit of mercy in him, just a little bit.
Deploy Apothecary medical equipment.
So this is kind of a drawback to the setup teams over here. Let's see if these Tactical Marines will take him out. It's gonna be close, 30 HP, I think he'll be okay. Scouts on this side of the map almost getting taken out by that Corn Havoc while they're trying to cap I think he too was trying to pay attention to the right side of the map and almost lost his scouts because of it. If only they had cloaked before they went for that cap. A little misplay there. Oh no, tactical marines taking a lot of fire from those corn. Oh, so much corn. Will it escape? It's got 30 HP, 20, 12, 10. Oh, it goes down. I guess that's okay. He did have 3 squads of tactical marines. I'm not sure if he really needed that. Of course, it is unfortunate to lose them. I think that was one of his leveled squads as well, because he has the new level 1 squad out here that just came out of that drop pod.
Strategic points.
Sarges on both of these attacks. I think there were Sarges on all 3, so that was an expensive squad to lose at this point. Apothecary sitting there with his improved medical equipment and armor of purity, giving him the rapid heals right here. These corn marines just taking damage. A little micro slip there from Nurland. Bloodletters also just not even worried about it. They're just going to stall out with their phase shift while the Chaos Havocs set up some more and then start bringing the heavy fire. Look at how much damage these assault marines are just constantly taking. Down to 3 models. Will they lose another one? Maybe. Oh man, these autocannons are such a pain. Once they start that volley, they'll finish that volley even if you get out of sight. It's a lot of damage. You kind of have to remember that when you're trying to just barely get out of range there. If they start that volley, they will finish it. Scouts just punching havocs all day long. Someone should give those scouts some swords or something. Speaking of swords, I'm surprised we don't see the power sword on the Apothecary. I think that would actually be really useful. Oh, dangerous grenade right there. That could have cost him the squad if a couple more swings would have gone down on that scout sides to come back. 171 to 282. Toilailee struggling on victory points, but looking kind of okay on army composition. If he can just keep this Plasma Devastator from firing blasts into these melee forces, he'll be doing all right. Forced off the Plasma Dev, the Assault Marines and Tacs are moving in there with the help of that Apothecary. Life Drain goes down on the Apothecary, though. Life Drain with that Mantle of Hate. Very dangerous with this kind of melee force. You can see he just isolated that Apothecary and assassinated him with that mob of melee right there. Of course, Nurland coming out here with some pretty injured squads at the moment. There's not really much the tactical marines are going to be able to do against Bloodletters and Corn Marines, though. Map going back and forth a whole lot right here. This has been an interesting match. Kind of fun builds on either side. This melee with the double Corn Havocs, and then Toilailee just bringing all the big Space Marine meat, tons of attacks and Assault Space Marines. But yeah, that power axe on the Apothecary would be a bigger threat to these Chaos Space Marines. Oh! Oh! That was brutal. Corn Havocs obliterated by a well-placed Plasma Devastator shot. Those blue balls of doom blasting out of that cannon. The power axe would also prevent these Bloodletters from being able to as freely phase shift and teleport around. Drain some energy off that Chaos Lord. I don't know. Get that power axe, man. Dreadnought coming onto the field for Toilailee. I think that's going to be a pretty excellent decision. There's really no hard anti-vehicle on the field at all. There's some power melee, but that's about it. Bloodletter's moving in here. Merciless Strike was ready for it. And Chaos Terminator's on the field as well. Nurland is tier 3, leaving Toilailee in the dust. Once again, that phase shift saving the Bloodletters, just being a consistent pain in the rear for Mr. Toilailee. The Assault Space Marines probably have to get out of there. And these Terminators going to be a pretty big pain for Toilailee. Grenade goes down to at least scare off the worship for the time being, when the scouts are taking those Storm Bolter fire from those Chaos Terminators. Despite the Terminators being out, though, this Dreadnought's still going to be a pretty huge threat. There's nothing that can really deal with it at the moment. There's the lone autocannon. Yeah, we're going to see a second autocannon come down on those Terminators. Autocannon's the name of the game for Mr. Nurland. Got plasma rifles immediately upgraded on both of these tactical marine squads. Of course, giving them a lot more firepower against these Chaos Terminators. But even so, all of this melee force without the support of those two autocannons is going to have a real hard time dealing with this Dreadnought. 142 to 222.
Devastators at your command.
And Toilaillee's taken back control of the map for the time being. Everything's moving in on these tactical marine squad. Nurland sitting in tier 3. Needs something to deal with this dreadnought. I don't know if these auto cannons are going to be enough to scare it off. Phase shift going down on the bloodletters. I'm surprised they didn't just move in right there. Toilailee has a lot of meat on the field for this engagement. He's got the assaults. The assaults need to get in on those corn marines. These two plasma rifle space marines doing some good damage. Just as those bloodletters move in, he was ready. Oh, terrible friendly fire from that plasma devastator. I'm not sure if it was trying to shoot at those bloodletters or what, but it caused a lot of hurt. Oh no, those tactical marines need to get the heck out of there. They might go down right here. That's unfortunate. A second squad attacks down for Toilailee. A little micro slip up right there, unfortunately. Plasma devastator still incurring major losses on those corn marines. It's taken out a whole squad and then constantly been haranguing the secondary squad.
Ready to serve. Fire at will.
142 to 163. Still anyone's game, but it looks like this dreadnought's really allowing Toilailee to hold the map at this point. I'm not sure what Nurland should really go. He doesn't have the wreck. His Chaos Army looking a bit penurious at the moment. But we'll have to see if they can find a way to get back in this. Devastator's coming down for Toilailee. It's an interesting choice of late game. Level 3 tactical marines, not afraid of heretics at all. Plasma Devastator trying to find a shot, but the bloodletters get in just in the nick of time. Plasma Devastator now repositioning while the Chaos Lord's just running around in the center. Assault Space Marines not afraid with the support of that Apothecary. They can just dive right in there, keep that Havoc busy. Dreadnought getting a little bit low, but the Scouts are managing to repair it under fire. Quick retreat on that Plasma Devastator. And Emperor's Fist goes down, stunning the majority of Nurland's forces right here. It's not looking good for Nurland. 130 to 142, and a triple cap about to go down. Dreadnought is pretty beat up, though. But Toilailee has so much resource. I'm not sure. He has to be saving up for a Land Raider, I guess, at this point. That's the only reason he wouldn't have bought anything else in Tier 3 by now. 3-0 cap. Oh, and that's it. Nurland calls the GG right there. He's looking too poor to even reinforce the majority of his army at this point, and he won't be able to get anything out here, I guess, to deal with this Dreadnought. He probably did the best he could considering, but the thing was he had to focus the majority of his damage on the Dreadnought, and then the Space Marines were just allowed to run amok through the field, disrupting whatever they pleased. So I can see a GG call there. A little premature maybe, but with a triple cap and no way to deal with a walker that's on the field, and, you know, you holding a melee-centric army, it's probably safe to throw in the towel right there. But either way, that was a fun game to watch. Wasn't the longest of games, but sometimes you don't need a long game. I liked seeing these build orders, double corn, seeing the life drain with that melee army from the Chaos Lord. Whew, that was it. But man, hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You know I love hearing from you folks. Check out my streams. Stop by the channel. Play some more Dow. That's all I want. And send me your replays. I need some more replays. I'm getting some good one-on-ones recently, though, so that's exciting. I know everyone likes the 2-on-2, 3-on-3s, but man, I love the tactics of one-on-one matches. And I've been playing myself. I'm still pretty bad at them. I'm trying to get back into it. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's be done with this. I'll catch you guys next time.